All right, welcome back to Thunderleaf Games, and we are not playing Cyberpunk tonight. We're throwing a little something different at you here. We are down a person, as you may notice. No Mike for us tonight. He's traveling and just not available to us. So we're going to have a little special adventure in not quite space. So we're going to explore a little Dungeons and Dragons. And with me tonight, I've got my favorite co-cast here. And we'll start here just by throwing it around and introducing ourselves. And then we'll come back to characters here as we start the adventure. But first, of course, as always, we want to start by thanking some of the people that help make our games happen. So we have Kevin MacLeod, who provides the song for the intro music, outro music, and a couple other things we use from Incomtech.com. Just some fantastic open source music, really great. We recommend checking it out if you're looking for adding something to your own videos or own home games. There's a lot there. We want to thank Sirenscape. We use that for our soundboard throughout the games and just kind of helping bring our worlds to life. And I think that actually brings us to the end of the list tonight. And we'll throw a little thank you to D&D Beyond, because that is the service we're using tonight to run our adventure. But I'm joined, and from we'll start at top left here with Amie.
I'm Amie. I don't know what else to say if I'm not introducing my character yet.
Yeah.
But hi, thank you. So glad you're here.
Perfect, and that's why we're throwing you all on the spot. Great.
Was that Ray or Greg?
I said Greg.
Okay, I'm Greg, if you didn't already know by the glorious banner down here. I do our backgrounds and stuff for the show, and you'll meet my character when Donnie deigns it so.
Exactly. Because as my favorite saying goes, because I'm the dungeon master and I said so.
Yeah, that tracks.
And just below me here, we have the lovely Ray.
Hey, everybody. I'm Ray, and I'm just happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Right. So we'll take you into our world tonight. So we're going to take an adventure in the world of spelljamming and spaceships in Dungeons and Dragons, which is a unique little place. And this adventure brings us in to the known spheres of the wild space, where there exists a legendary school. And for those who pilot ships through crystal spheres and across astral seas, where gravity bends and dragons sail the stars, there belongs to a rare order of adventurers. Only the top 1% of these pilots are invited to the Academy. Few people know of the Academy's existence, and its leaders try to keep it that way. Here, under the guiding hand of Mert the Merciless, using cutting-edge magic, the best instructors, known as the Bridge, will teach the rarest, fresh pilots the most elite set of skills. They're known as Spelljammers. And for you, the adventurers, today is the day. Fresh from orientation, you and your crewmates are to report to Serth Abazin, the Spelljammer training officer. Before you head out, though, your first stop will be the Academy Refectory for a hearty breakfast. And we find yourselves in a bunk room. Metal floors, cheap economy metal bunk beds, where you've been hanging out with some of your fellow cadets, getting to know each other overnight. But you're all awoken suddenly by a klaxon blaring through the barracks, and a voice over an intercom, you're like, "Get out of bed, you maggots! This is time for training! Hurry up and get to breakfast before training starts. If you don't start now, you'll never be ready." And that brings us to you all. How do we find you this morning? Who are you? And are you ready for the day? Is this a sudden awakening? And why don't we start with you, Amie?
So, my wonderful character, Nam Melis, is definitely not up and ready. Oh, no. That sound is going off. And she just takes her pillow, puts it over her head, and gives the middle finger towards wherever that loudspeaker is. And then just kind of slowly comes around and forces herself to get up. But she's for sure going to be the last one up, the last one out of the bunk, the last one to breakfast. And, she'll get there when she gets there. But otherwise, just very plain, kind of friendly looking, just short, cropped black hair, a little kind of messy and tousled about, certainly not trying to look like some prestigious school person, just doing her thing.
Perfect. And great. How do we find you?
So we find Algrix, a plasmoid, and as his klaxon is going off, he is coming out of the showers. He's just finished a really rigorous workout, woken up well ahead of most of the other students, and he's getting ready for the day. He's here for a reason, and it's to be the best. And that takes work, and Algrex is willing to put the work in for that, so he kind of slides across the floor and starts getting dressed for the day.
Awesome. And Ray, how do we find you?
So we're going to see Abigail Bonebreaker Merrick. She is not only already up, she has already done her workout. She has already eaten breakfast, and she looks pristine. Uniform is sharp. Everything just to a T. Everything's pressed and ironed. She looks great. And that's because she should not be in the position that she's in, and she doesn't want anybody to know. She definitely does not know how she got here, but she's 100% going to fake it till she makes it.
Well, that's a familiar sensation here.
Every day.
And shortly, as you all are at your different states of readiness, in through the door comes Petty Officer Winston Rybeck, and he's got a big ladle with him. He kind of always is found with this. He typically runs the galley. He's a very large, muscular GIF, which has the appearance of, as we've recently learned, a extremely large humanoid, gray skin, and kind of a hippo-like appearance. He barges in the door. He says, "Get up. The best way to someone's heart is through their stomach, and the best way to train is on a full one. Get to the galley and get your meal right now before training starts. And, well, you got 1 hour, recruits. Get to it."
Yeah, Alex will finish getting dressed. So, yes, sir. And head down.
Do our other two join as well?
I've already eaten breakfast. I am probably panic studying something. Just trying to cram some knowledge in there.
Now Melise is going to change out of her pajamas into something that looks similarly like pajamas. Just, it's clean, whatever. And then just slowly follow along and kind of like mess with the what was their name?
Algrex?
No, the from the cantina.
Oh, that is Petty Officer Winston Rybeck.
So on the way out, she's just gonna start like literally poking at and teasing Ryback and just being friendly and jovial, but also like, shut the fuck up, it's early.
Quit poking at me, cadet. Take yourself seriously.
Take yourself less seriously. It's slop. It's not going anywhere. It's fine.
Slop. This is my own custom. You can't do better than my meals. You will quickly learn that without a good day of the gunpowder chowder, you cannot get a day's working.
Sure thing.
And he kind of peels off to the side and he's like, if you don't hurry up, all the other recruits are going to beat you to it. And as you do get closer to the galley, you do notice that already a line is forming of other cadets that you are currently in direct competition with for your certification as a Spelljammer. But yeah, the Cantina Galley is definitely the place to be this time of day. Most use it as a time to kind of catch up, see where their crew is, a little bit of competition, of course. Good way to keep an eye on the competition, as everybody's in one place at one time. But yeah, people are filing into the long lunch line or breakfast line here, and they are being served some kind of, to be honest, slop is not the worst word. But it is more of there's a little bit of like fried meat steaming along like a pile of oats. And and it's definitely got a heavy spice smell to it. Probably not what you would usually have as breakfast, but, maybe normal for a guest. Once you get your meals, you find yourself with not a lot of options of where to sit. There's a couple, 1 or 2 seats among some of the tables, but these other crews are not typically super friendly. But there is one table that's got a fair amount of room with one young human sat at it, who is nose buried in a book as well. But there are 3 seats together there at that table.
I think Algrex has gotten himself a big heaping bowl of this this slop. He's used to it at this point. This is what champions eat. And he'll drop down at one of those open seats and start munching.
And I'll aggressively just slide down the bench and crash into him and be like, "Sup, bitches."
I'm probably looking at what the other guy is reading and being like, shit, am I supposed to be studying that? Shit.
Go ahead and make a perception check for me. We'll have that be our first roll there, right?
17.
Nice. That's pretty good. So yeah, you do actually pick up a little bit from this other recruit here. And he is seeming very anxious. And he is kind of rapidly flipping through like 2 or 3 books. One is like, advanced astro training for spelljammers. Another one is know your spelljammer, like you know yourself. And then the other one is spelljamming for dummies. And he's kind of going back and forth between all 3 really quick, mumbling like, oh, I'd like to be a great spelljammer, but I don't know if I've got it in me. And he's just kind of panic reading here at this point, trying to study. He's got this light olive skin, dark brown eyes, this disheveled black hair, and of course wearing the same uniform as most cadets.
I think Algrex will pull the book Know Your Spelljammer Like You Know Yourself out, and he'll start thumbing through it. This is pretty outdated stuff here. Totally ignore chapter 23.
Oh, dude. How to land your spell. I don't know. This seems pretty important. Are you sure?
Yeah, no. Don't pay attention to that chapter. Trust me. You'll learn how to do it in the field. That chapter will get you killed if you follow the advice. I knew like 3 guys who died that way.
Oh, wow. You've known 3 spelljammers? That's amazing.
Oh, they weren't spelljammers yet.
Hugely.
Clearly they weren't cut out to be like me.
Oh. Boy, I wish I had your confidence. And he kind of picks up a different book and starts flipping to like the landing section in that page and is like trying to compare and contrast here.
Numbly
What
pulls out a comic book. Some real important stuff here.
The adventures of somebody in Spelljammer space, I assume.
I know it's wholly unrelated. It's about like a troll in a mountain. It really could not look any more like she just doesn't give a shit about being there. She does, but there is no way to get the impression she cares.
Micken's probably eyeing over his book occasionally at this, and like every time he sees it, he just kind of, you see this look of despair on his face, like, oh God, so relaxed, like I'm so screwed.
His anxiety is probably pumping up my anxiety. And now I'm probably also panic reading like the landing pages of like, shit, was he?
How do you pronounce your character's name, Amie?
Nam Elise.
Nam Elise. Do you have last week's issue of that?
Yeah, actually.
And he's going, can I grab that from you?
Yeah, sure. I already read this one twice.
And he'll take it, and he'll kind of kick back with his boots up on the table. He'll put his bowl of scop on his belly and just read like a Saturday morning.
Can I see, Ray, what was your character's name again?
Abigail.
That was an easy one, too. Can I see that Abigail is getting, like, noticeably wound?
Make a insight check here for us. And let's just have Abigail roll a either sleight of hand or stealth check, I guess. Kind of like trying to see if she can pick up on any of your tells.
21 for Abigail.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's being a real D-bag.
Ray made a slick character. I'm surprised.
16.
16. You know, you're a little absorbed into your comic at this point, and you don't know Abigail super well yet. So yeah, I don't think you quite pick up on the nerves. You probably think more of the, like, you know, typical geek just reading their book, like. So as you guys are finishing up breakfast, and Micken continues to just panic and study, he probably mentioned something along the lines of like, oh, I hope the crew takes it easy on me in this exercise. I'm just not prepared. This is going to go terrible. And he's just kind of setting the books down and like realizing he hasn't eaten any of his breakfast and just starts like panic stuffing it down as fast as he can.
As he's after he's gotten a good couple of bites in and he's got a nice mouthful, Algrex will come up and pat him on the back real hard. It's okay, buddy. Look, really, at the end of the day, flying a Spelljammer, it's all about heart. And if your heart's in the right place, bird will go where you want her to.
Quick question. Where is your heart? Like, physiologically speaking, in there?
Do you have any idea how rude that question is? Oh, it's right here.
Okay, but like you could still answer it.
I mean, yes. You see this kind of orb in the middle here? That's like the nucleus. That's kind of the closest equivalent I've got to a heart.
See, we're learning about each other. Do you have a question for me? We can exchange. We can
What's
bond.
that weird stuff coming out on top of your head?
That is called hair. And that is what we have that grows on our bodies to keep us warm and look good.
Looks like a pain in the ass.
And it's probably
Well,
at this
he looks
moment,
white.
as we're having this conversation, that you smell a kind of thick, pungent cigar smoke coming up again behind you. Smell of cigars.
Excuse me, whoever you are,
I turn
share.
around.
And as you do turn around, you notice this drow woman behind you. Hair graying at the temples. This is Bosun Tarto, a battle-hardened veteran, which you can tell from the scars on their face. They're also bear the wings of a spelljammer on their chest. And she clearly just exudes capability. The Spelljammer Academy has no better person to spearhead training the raw recruits, and Tarto knows it. Never one to mince their words. This old grizzled drow has dark skin, ebon black hair, and she's perpetually shrouded in a thick haze of cigar smoke, the smell of which often is the accompany of her arrival. And as she walks up behind you, you hear, "Listen to what I tell you. It may just save your life. Now get up, get to the Spelljammer training quarters, and prepare for your exercise, recruits. You've had sitting around long enough this morning." And Micken, who in particular was too absorbed to notice them coming, like spits some of their food out and like jumps up, like still dribbling a little bit, and quickly snaps a salute. "Yes, Bosun Tarto, sir, ma'am, yes," and just runs off down the hall, like kind of scurrying away, getting ahead of the crowd.
Can I roll a perception to see if I picked up on Bosun heading this way?
Yeah.
15.
15, you definitely would have noticed, caught the smell coming from a ways off.
I think as Algrex catches this smell, he's going to calmly take his boots off the table, set the bowl down, finish, and kind of right as she arrives and starts barking orders, he'll turn around, give a proper salute, "Motion!" and start heading towards the training room.
And Bosun looks at the two of you. "What are you waiting for? To the simulation deck. The simulation starts if you're ready or not. And Instructor Sarth is not gonna wait around."
All right. Chill out, man.
So the academy is very much what you would think of in terms of a like futuristic training facility. It's very clinical, clean, square walls, all paneled and plastic or steel. Everything to be wiped down and is kept clean. And the way through those halls a little bit, but it's pretty easy to follow several other groups of cadets towards the simulation rooms where your assignment is going to take place today. The first test as a newly assembled crew. And a crew is made up of 3 roles: a captain, a shipmate, and the spelljammer, who is essentially the pilot of the ship. What roles do each of you fulfill in your crew?
Algrex is he's pulling on his leather jacket, pulling the goggles down. He's the spelljammer of this crew. He's the pilot of this baby.
Abigail is the definitely should not be the captain of this crew.
Just ready for their coming to their own story, right?
Right.
She'll figure it out, probably.
Yeah. Nomalis is a shipmate, just keeping everything together. Our hoity-toity other friends here think that they're large, but like without her keeping it literally together on the ship, it doesn't really matter what you two do.
I love it. Excellent. And so Bosun Tarto is following closely behind you. And as you all arrive to the simulation chambers, you hear Tarto just behind you take a long pull on that cigar, and it breathes it out into the much too small a corridor here for you and another crew, which seems to be scheduled for the same simulation at this point, including Cadet Micken standing across the hall from you, and two other young cadets who seem a fair amount more confident than he did. Bosun Tardo begins to speak, and it tells you, each crew is to navigate their ship through a debris field on the outskirts of Collier, a sodden big gas giant. There, you're to salvage the captain's logbook, and from the wreckage of an abandoned ship, salvage the captain's logbook from the wreckage of an abandoned ship, then return to your starting point with your own ship intact. And it looks around the room, and she says again, intact, not first. Get the mission done well, not quick. Listen to what I say. It might just save your life. And at this point, strutting out of the simulation chamber is this very handsome, androgynous human, but they've clearly done something to their appearance. It's very elfine in appearance, very sharp angles, pointed jaw, hair swept back, and eyes that the whites have gone dark, and the irises glow almost silver. This is Training Officer Sarth Abizjan. I love the names in D&D.
Yeah, they're pretty damn great.
Despite their extravagant nature, this training officer tries to keep a mysterious nature, and it has come through the rumors that they hail from the mysterious Isle of Nimbrel. Though maybe less experienced, certainly younger than the other instructors at the academy, there's just something about them that screams otherworldly and ultimate spelljammer. Their quick wit and sharp tongue provides them with inexhaustible supply of jabs and quips, accompanied to great effect by their talent with illusory magic. Sarth runs the Spelljammer simulation chambers. And as she walks out, or they walk out, to step into the room to the right with crew Alpha, and they point at you. To the left with crew Beta, points to the crew across the hall from you. Prepare for your mission today. Those that succeed to the best, by judgment of course, myself, because I'm all that matters here. Your opinions don't. Will be the laurels of your merits. Let me know when you're ready, and I will begin your assignment. Take your stations.
Sure, yeah, sure. Ready for assignments. And, Grex will get ready to go get into a Spelljammer pod.
Yeah, so when you walk in, you step into a very blank room. It's gridded off, just plain matte gray walls, and there's set up 3 stations. One seems to be a chair, kind of just elevated up and above the other 2. And it doesn't have much equipment into it. It's got a couple sensors built out of the arms of the chair. One station has several readouts and technical readouts for the station. And the third station is a kind of strange chair. Hanging just above it is this unique helm that dangles from the ceiling on a kind of reticulated mount that you of course recognize as a Spelljammer helm.
He will crack his pseudopodia and squeeze his way in there.
What a word.
I haven't thought about
Grant's
that
been waiting
since high
for
school.
this his whole life.
I'm having fun.
All right. Excellent. And you wait a minute. It seems that Sereth has gone in and started the simulation for the crew next door. And then they step into your chamber behind you, takes a look, notes you're all in your positions, and announces, "Good luck, cadets, and don't be afraid. These illusions are realistic, thanks to my arcane prowess, but they are just that, illusions. However, you will be judged like they're real, and if you don't take it serious, I will take pleasure in bouncing you out of the academy first thing." And at this point, she like snaps her hands together and then slams them into the floor, and the lines go glowing blue and white, etching the shape of a ship deck around as you stand. The room melts away, and amid an explosion of colors, textures, and sounds, suddenly you find yourself on the deck of a Hammerhead-class Spelljammer. And this ship, you know from your studies and your prep that the Hammerhead ship is a military-class vessel. It does have the appearance of a sea-like creature, and for our sake, a colloquialism, a hammerhead shark. It's got a large, wide prow on the front of the ship. The cabin, or the command deck, as it were, is located right in the center of that. There are several defensive weapons among the ship. Defensive being a euphemism for it shoots only when you tell it to, not of its own, I guess. But there are definitely weapons to be used. And the ship itself, in particular, is designed as a ramming vessel as well. At this point, a image appears up on the center of the screen, and it is of a mechadome, a metal gnome-like creature, obviously by the name, wearing what appears to be a bowler, but it's actually crafted into the design of the body of this person, and a shining golden mustache hanging wide across their face with violet eyes. This is Mert, the Merciless, chief trainer, founder, and CFO of the Academy. And he's here to your first mission amongst Spelljammer Academy. Cadets, welcome to the Academy. This is your first training exercise. And while you may not be at life-staking danger, I can assure you your life will be ruined if you don't succeed today and take this exercise serious. And even if you should somehow manage to skirt by and get through this, you're still probably going to die in a terrible spelljamming accident, just because that's the dangerous life you're taking on. But for those of you who don't, and he kind of tweaks his gold mustache a little bit, the rewards are great. And at this point, it says, "Prepare, all cadets. Your mission begins in," and then it starts a countdown on the screen. 10, 9, and starts working its way down. How do you quickly prepare for your mission? And just a reminder, that is to retrieve the logbook and get back before the other ship. But they say first doesn't matter, but you all definitely know better.
But it matters.
Oh, yeah.
You asked us just like we have a tendency to forget the plan or the objective.
Only because I've had to remind my ADD self several times.
I've literally already had forgotten.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm ready to get on a ship.
We needed that reminder.
So navigate through the debris field, get to the outskirts of the big sodden gas planet, salvage the captain's logbook from the wreckage of an abandoned ship, and return ship intact.
So yeah, Algrix he's kind of locked in his little pod there, and he's going through his pre-flight checks, flipping the toggles, Engine 1 is ready, Engine 2 is ready, oils are pre-warmed, spell components are ready and loaded, pre-flight check completed, we're ready for takeoff, Captain.
Can we plot a course first?
That's
May help.
probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So at this point, though, the timer is clicking down. 2, 1, 0, and so our is concerned about plotting a course. Why don't we have you begin by rolling a survival or persuasion check here as the captain for your ability to get this course plotted.
9.
And which one were you going with?
That was persuasion, and that's a +4 for a 9.
Yeah. So how do you envision you inspire your crew so solely to set a course?
This is a dangerous debris field, everyone. And she's just like wiping her palms on her because she's like so nervous. And she's like, we should know where we're going first before we go there, you guys.
Captain, are you having trouble maintaining the integrity of your palms?
They are damp. Yes.
All right. I feel like I have to see it now, right? Like,
Yeah, I think
Freaking out a
too.
little bit.
You are definitely picking up some of that nerves with that 9 roll, but with that kind of questionable encouragement, let's try taking her away here, Spelljammer,
All right.
and let's have you make a spell check here for us. So, add your spell casting ability to a D20 roll.
All right. There it is. It's been a while since I've
I
rolled.
need you to know that Emily's just made herself first mate. She just saw you looking sad up there and was like, we're gonna fix this.
That's 23. Nat 20.
Nice.
Cool.
So yeah, you kind of you're in the zone. You don't even notice the captain's discouragement, and
He doesn't recognize it as anxiousness because he just thinks she's having trouble maintaining integrity.
you pull this thing right out of the docks here, where it is docked on what appears to be the top level of the Spelljammer Academy. And you probably like whip this thing around in a little barrel roll and jam it into high as you propel the ship skyward, ripping up off into the aether. Anything special that you do on your initial launch here out of the base?
I think he definitely pulls a barrel roll as we're pulling away. He definitely just a nice smooth barrel roll as we make our vector on the debris field.
And you hear Bosun on the line, and there were some nice moves that'll definitely get you killed, Cadet. But you can tell there's some begrudging respect in those moves.
Vector. Bosun.
And very quickly, the island that the Academy is towering on disappears beneath your ship, passing through the clouds until the spectacular void of a wild space comes into view. And from here, it's a world filled with stars and light, and the colors that don't quite make it through the sky normally just suddenly seem amazingly clear. Greens and purples and reds and blues. all whipping around you. You've made it into wild space. You take your ship out into a vector that the ship seems keen upon. There is a plotted course. Generally, you know where B is. It's how to get from A to B that makes up things. And you try and follow the captain's orders as you're going through, but there definitely don't seem to be quite the most efficient route. And you actually find yourself in a bit of debris clattered space, and it's not so much that it's a concern, but you do hear like debris clanking against the exterior of your ship, and you can see flashing on your screens, Nam, that there's been some minor damage to the hull of the ship as you take this course you were plotted on. As you're noting this, though, you see an alert on your screen, nonetheless, and it starts flashing, and it says, "Alert! Unidentified creatures and obstacles ahead. Warning." How do you react?
I will, while looking very casual, but moving a little quicker, go over to the captain and let her know that stuff is ahead. And then while like making you look very proud and bolstered and try to like give the captain a good appearance, we'll just start shouting things at my fellow crewmates like, red alert, go to your stations.
Nice. And so you sound an alarm for the crew, and people start to get to their stations, and just as you do, you see as you stand next to the captain, these large eels, a whole school of them, flying parallel to the ship, and one seems to kind of weave out in front of the ship, and it catches in there, and your crew is ready to react to this adventure or this misadventure as this eel gets wrapped up on the edge of the ship, and it kind of pulses quickly with electricity, and you can tell that there's a possibility this could catch flames to the ship. Let's have you, Nam, give me a strength or dexterity check here, your kind of your choice, to kind of lead the crew in handling this emergency and this red alert you've sounded.
That's a big fat one.
A big 3. Fat one. Oh no. Oh, so you're a new recruit, so you kind of like run down the hall, kind of getting all the rest of the crew to their positions, but you get a little turned around in the ship, and like as one like gets in your way, like it's like no, you kind of strong arm them the other direction, and unfortunately you end up on the wrong deck. And yeah, the ship does seem to have some higher alarms. A fire did catch over in the far port head of the prow, and does seem to take a little bit further damage. The eel slides off, though, and eventually the automatic fire suppression system does kick in, and the ship doesn't get consumed or anything, but it's a little rough, worse for wear. But once you've made it through the space eels and the ship continues traveling rapidly through spelljamming speed, you find yourself coming upon the debris field, and there seems to be, as you come in, a asteroid cluster here that you're going to have to navigate to get to the other side. Let's have everybody here make a check just to see how we can work together, and we'll let you tell me how you help navigate through this obstacle as these asteroids come flying in at your ship quickly. Even though you're slowing down, your speed is still very high. And on the far side is the very large looming orange, yellow, swirling gas giant of a planet. We'll start with you, Ray. How does the Captain Abigail start the process for navigating this obstacle?
She's full stop and then proceed slowly, evasive maneuvers when needed.
Copy that, Captain.
Yeah.
And yeah, Algrex will go into full stop.
And Captain, just roll for me a either survival or persuasion check as you kind of encourage the crew to follow your orders.
7.
Oh my gosh.
We're just so ready for this today, guys.
It's a group check on this one.
Everything is with an upward inflection. She's full stop, right? That's what we do.
I love that.
Evasive maneuvers.
And Spelljammer, how are you handling these upward inflected orders you're receiving?
I think Algrex is kind of trying to reach out through the connection he has with the ship to feel what's ahead and kind of slow us out of the way of harm. So, like, if there's a debris field horizontal, we'll try and drift up or something.
Yeah. So let's have you make either an Arcana or a Perception check here for me. For how quickly you can retest. Oh my god.
That's a nat 1 for a 4?
Yeah, all that earlier bravado, you know, as they say, highs rise before the fall, unfortunately.
We're gonna die in a holodeck, you guys. None of this is even real, and we feel so bad.
All right, shipmate, you're kind of leading the crew throughout the ship, trying to deal with these evasive maneuvers coming through, you know, feeding power to the right coils. How are you kind of trying to lead the way?
Please lead the way.
Yeah, after taking a quick moment of feeling embarrassed that she got turned around and just like running back to her post like shit. We'll continue to just kind of bark orders at people like, I said starboard, go starboard, what do you not get about that? And just continue like she owns the place, despite clearly not having a fucking clue.
All right, let's get a athletics or acrobatics check here for your vigorous leading of the crew.
13.
All right. Well, unfortunately, unsurprisingly, that is one success, but we do have 2 fails here on this group check. So as you're coming in, you do rapidly slow down, following the captain's orders, but unfortunately, because you've lost speed, you've also lost maneuvering effectiveness. And fortunately, the shipmate is deploying crew where needed to kind of deal with it, as a couple of these asteroids do just bounce off the ship's hull. Large impacts, and sirens do begin wailing in the ship. Moderate damage has been sustained. And from a context point of view, your ship would have began with 400 hit points. Due to some of the damage you've sustained, that's going to be a lower value for you all as we move in here. But you do find yourself outside of the gorgeous, for lack of a better word, planet. Unlike any you've ever seen before. It's whipping with orange light clouds, swirling in places, and of a scale that's a little baffling at first. as you come from a long distance off, and these asteroids seem pretty large compared to your ship. And as you pop through and start getting closer, you realize that these asteroids are like specks of dust compared to the size of this planet. But you do pick up a beacon. Ping, ping, ping on the radar, guiding you in. It's a distress beacon, still sounding from back you are trying to retrieve the logbook from. It's still a little ways away. Let's have you all roll some perception checks as you try and zero in on this.
3.
3 as well.
Oh my goodness.
Also a 3.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Somebody has to flunk out of the academy. It's part of keeping the prestige up, you know?
Oh. Well, I mean, it's not really a rigorous program if cadets don't die, right?
That's right.
On their first day.
So yeah, you're looking and looking, and all of a sudden, just at the last second, you see just out of the corner of the view panel another ship, a Squid class vessel, common to pirates and scavengers out here. And this tentacle comes whipping around, smashes into the bow of the ship, and you feel the ship shudder. What do you do?
Prepare to attack.
All right.
Yes.
Well, that sounds like
She says that when standing up straight. She's like, I got this one. I know this one.
that sounds like a great call to roll initiative.
4.
18.
13.
All right, so not bad. Let's see here how the ship does. I just need a D20. Cool. All right. So we will begin with Algrex. How do you react to this ship attacking? So as it slams this tentacle across the bow of the ship, it surges past you, and you do see this ship. It's slightly smaller than yours, but that tends to, in your mind, mean possibly maybe more agile. But you should keep speed pretty comparably with it. But you have taken some damage.
I think what he wants to do is he wants to try and maneuver our ship so that the starboard arc of the hammerhead thing is kind of blocking their ship from moving forward. So I want to kind of surge in front of them and then break with the hammerhead in front of them.
Okay, very cool. Let's have a spellcasting check here to do your spell jamming maneuvering.
All right. This can be 8.
8. So yeah, you try and surge forward, and it kind of jinks to the right hard at this point, and dives underneath your prow and surges ahead of you. At which point it kind of lines up. You see it's got a rear-facing ballistae, and it's gonna take a shot at you here. And it's going to get... There we go. I'm trying to I'm gonna have to like almost get manual dice here in a second. I'm not used to not having Foundry right in front of me anymore.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where all my dice are. This is a different setup than we normally have, so...
All right, so it takes a shot. That's a 13 to hit. And so it blasts out, and it does. It's more of a energy shot than, like, it's not just shooting a large ballista at you, but like this thing is like a high speed ballista, kind of glowing with energy. And unfortunately, it kind of like hits the ship at a little bit of an off angle as it hits to kind of evade your ram attempt, and it glances off the hull of the ship, not scoring a severe hit. That point, we had an 8 on, I believe that was Elise, or was that, no, it was Ray. You had the next initiative, right? 13?
I had 13,
Yep.
yes.
So, Ray, what does Captain Abigail do? So you could like order the ship to fire, or I don't know, inspire the crew, all sorts of things.
If we're in position, I would definitely like to return fire.
Absolutely. So you would know that your ship has several special attacks, and I'm going to actually even drop those in the chat here for y'all, hopefully. Copy image. Paste. That is Siren's Cape still. It's going to be a website, and that should take you to your ship. But you know that you've got a ballistae, and that would require 3 crew members to operate. You have a crew of 15, so you have plenty of people to operate all your equipment. There's also mangonel, which will whip large kind of like restraining weights at the ship to try and slow it down, and can do a heavy amount of damage as well, but does take longer to use. It can only be used every other turn.
Let's just go with the ballista right now.
Yeah, so let's roll a ranged weapon attack. So attack, and then you can add at least a +6 or your dex mod, whichever is higher.
I don't have like a regular attack roll.
So you can just roll a d20 and either add 6 or add your dex mod. It should be 6. Higher.
I say, having a +6 dex at level 2 would be
I was just
pretty
thinking
impressive.
about that, yeah. Even with like proficiency, that shouldn't happen.
So 23.
23. So yeah, you kind of call on the radio, crew, fire the ballista, and you see this bolt fire back out of your ship towards the squid ship in front of you, and it makes a solid contact. Go ahead and roll 3d10 damage.
$20.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, and at this point it is going to kind of take a moment here, and it's going to try and do an evasive maneuver and like swing around. It wants to loop around and see to come back to lash with the tentacles at the ship again, doing more physical damage. So you see it kind of surge out ahead, and and turn around to make a ram attack at you all. But in the meantime, Amie, what is Nam Elise doing? Nam Elise.
All right. So as it's like actively hitting us, would I be able to get into melee range?
So you could like help the ship prepare to ram back. So
Yeah,
at this
okay.
point, your guys' actions are going to be completely kind of directed into the ship. But yeah, you could definitely use the ship to make a ramming attack back at it.
Sure.
All right. So yeah, as the ships kind of surge together, let's have you make a melee weapon attack with
Nope. Ignore that button I just hit.
Okay. Yeah. So a D20 with a +8.
+8. Come on, technology. Okay. So 22.
22. Absolutely gonna hit. Let's see how it does it. It lashes. It kind of like forms its tentacles into like these sharp spears in front of it. As you both ships come to collide into each other, they're both gonna take damage. But let's have you roll 16 D10
Oof.
for the ship, Hammerhead ship.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't have a Spelljammer ship land on you.
No, that would.
All right.
Could you imagine if you only did 16 damage?
That was so satisfying on the screen. Holy shit. 99.
99.
Oh,
Holy
99.
moly.
That's amazing. Just this magical firework display on my screen with all of this.
Oh, that's awesome.
Surely we've gone straight through the other ship.
Yeah, definitely. In one hit.
I have my phone in my pocket. I've got D&D Beyond with D20 there. That'll work far better. I was poorly prepared, team. I did not
had to use
consider
my
at all
phone.
how I roll D20s.
Yeah, I had to use my phone first because it wouldn't come up on the browser, so I changed to browsers. It wouldn't work on Google, but it works on Microsoft.
Oh, wild.
Um,
The technology does not like you.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, the two ships come together and your ship smashes into the side of the squid ship, but its tentacles seem very prehensile, and two of them kind of loop around and jab deep into your own ship at the same time, doing 104 points of damage to your ship.
Oh.
Ow. That's not very nice, Donnie.
I was all excited about 99, and he's like, chump change.
Yeah.
Yeah, beat that by 5. Ain't no thing.
And at that point, though, it does come around to our Spelljammer. So as these kind of, you see flashing on your screen the like squid ship thrashing itself about you. How do you react?
Are its spears kind of still in our ship?
No, like you're not restrained. So it kind of was like a jabbing in and out on the ship. And if you want to make a perception or something to look around like the area, see what you kind of spot on the radar, things like that, that would be totally reasonable.
Have our crew been preparing the ballistae or mangonels at all?
Yeah, you can assume the ballistae are ready every turn.
Okay.
The mangonel takes 1 extra turn after being fired to be prepared again.
All right, so I think what he wants to do is he wants to try and kind of come up on top of these guys from where they are now, and then tell the crew to unleash the ballista and the mangonel on this thing.
Okay.
If I can only do one, then ballista.
Yeah, I think we'll go with 1. So which one?
Ballista.
Okay, so roll a attack with a d20 with a +6.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, absolutely a hit here. So go ahead and roll 3d10.
12.
12 more damage. All right. And yeah, at this point, the bolt lances off the ship as you kind of maneuver the ship into a firing line and unlaunch another ballistae from the crew. The squid ship kind of slides past you after taking this this small hit as it flees away, but still it clearly takes a chunk of ship away from it. That brings up Ray, our captain.
So they're trying to leave now? Is that
Not
it?
necessarily, but they're navigating kind of a short distance away from you. It's not lashing onto you or anything like that. It seems to be circling in.
I'm gonna say, prepare for ramming speed. Let's ram it again.
All right, so you kind of start maneuvering the ship. Let's have you make a charisma, or we can say, I guess, are you more charisma based or wisdom based? Charisma. Yeah, let's make a persuasion check as we kind of inspire the crew, or intimidation, depending on your personal leadership style in this moment of crisis.
Oh no.
That's a +4 for a 9 again.
Okay. So,
Ramming speed?
it's your first time on the bridge. You try and inspire the crew, and you think you got the idea across, but it probably wasn't the most efficiently. It's probably going to take a extra turn to get in ramming distance, just because as you told them to maneuver left, it kind of maneuvered a bit right, so it just ended up a little bit further than you had hoped away. And yeah, it's gonna, as it's kind of trailing a little distance here, it's gonna launch another ballistae back at you, and that will be a It will hit into the ship, doing some damage. As the ship takes another chunk of damage. You feel like you've been getting the better of the ship so far, but it's pretty close. You can tell they're in a pretty damaged state, but unfortunately your slightly larger, more armored ship got here in a little bit of a damaged state, so it feels pretty even right now, unfortunately. And Amie, how do you react to this state as kind of claxons start wailing? We have sustained another hit to the aft quarters.
I swab the deck with a heel pot. How would I rally some of the crew to get immediately on some sort of repair action and hopefully heal a little bit, for lack of a better term.
Okay, and what does that look like for you? How do you motivate the crew? What do you say to them?
Just start yelling we got this, team! let's just get in here. Come on, let's repair this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna save the world from something.
Okay. So is this like a show of strength for you? Are you intimidating the crew? What do you think is a suitable role here?
I should really stop making charisma my dump stat.
Well, I'd be perfectly happy with it being like like you could substitute strength in if you were more like intimidating the crew into doing it, or
like roll for moral support. Like,
okay. Well, let's give me a D20 roll.
4.
4.
Oh.
Okay. So, I think there's just a little bit of uncertainty still in your first job here. I mean, you're trying to find your own leadership style, and you're kind of switching between yelling at the crew and encouraging the crew, and they're just like, I don't know how to act. Like, it's just a little bit uncertainty, and unfortunately just the efforts to repair the damage are just not super effective this turn. And as we kind of loop around to the top here, you see a new alert showing on all of your displays. And you see from the squid ship, several smaller ships launch out of this thing. And you see a warning on your screen. Enemy skirmishers have been launched. Enemy skirmishers have been launched. And you all know that your ship is also equipped with skirmishers. That they're essentially drones controlled from your stations. But you know that small ships tend to be boarding parties. And if they land, you could have enemy ship crew roaming the halls, sabotaging your ship. And raiders are known for not leaving crews much to report, unfortunately, after they're done. But you have now your own small fighter class Spelljammer to control here in defense of your ship, if you so choose to take the action of that. And these small ships are essentially armed with dual ballistae. They're a little bit smaller version than the large cannons you've been firing from your big ship, but you will be able to kind of dogfight the enemy skirmishers as they try to attack your hammerhead ship on yours. But that will bring us to the top, and Cadet Algrix.
What does are there people on their deck of their squid, or is the cabin enclosed?
So the ship is enclosed right now, very similar to yours. There's like launching ports, and you certainly could be on the ship, depending on what the state of it is. But certainly in a state of combat like this, you're not typically out on the exterior of the Spelljammer.
Okay, I think Algrec's going to take his drone and make a beeline for the squid ship. And he is going to fire on the area that he knows their control room to be.
Nice. Okay, so pulling the enemy skirmishers back to defend their ship, possibly. I like it. So let's make a... use your spell attack, firstly, to navigate with your small attack ship here.
All right. Motherfucker. 11.
11. Not
Almost
terrible,
20.
but you probably don't quite get to where you were aiming at, but still go ahead and make an attack against the enemy ship.
What's the plus on that?
So it's going to be the same as the ballistae. The damage will just be a little bit.
Plus 6?
Plus 6.
So 19.
19. So yeah, you definitely score some hits here. And this ballistae, instead of just one big bolt, it's kind of like this peppering of small darts coming out of your ship. Unfortunately, it doesn't hit the most effective spot of the ship, just because you didn't quite get to there. But still, go ahead and roll 6d6 damage for me.
16.
16 points of damage to the main ship. All right.
And he is going to keep it out of vector to impact.
Okay. We will come back to that then. And at this point, the enemy ship is going to... The squid ship is kind of on a cruising pattern, kind of holding just out of range of you. But its fighters are going to try and engage you here, seeing you come in. So as you do, they will make an attack on you. They're gonna just hit, but it's more of a glancing blow. So your little ship is gonna take 9 points of damage, and for this purpose, we're gonna just use your points to track your drone.
Okay.
And that will bring Ray, Captain. You see some small ships making their way into engage you. A couple have peeled off to target one of your drones. What are you doing?
I don't suppose we have any like anti-air missiles.
You know, I think it's probably reasonable that the mangonel could be loaded instead of like with two large like chained boulders, loaded with like, you know, shot instead. I think that seems reasonable.
Okay. Yes. Let's do that. Let's load the mangonels and prepare for like anti-air strikes against all these drones coming through.
All right. Let's go ahead and roll firstly, just to kind of same thing. We're going to kind of do two checks here, just to determine effectiveness, and then like if we hit. So let's have that persuasion to kind of order the crew to effectively swap those the ordnance.
Mm-hmm. 10. That's a little
you
better.
broke double digits.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, they don't botch it, but you know, they don't reload twice this turn for sure. But yeah, go ahead and make a attack roll. Hit the mangonel, and this is at a +5.
$24.
24. All right, awesome. And let's roll 5d10. 36. That's pretty good. And in fact, I would say just kind of generally looking here, you would see like two of the drones kind of like poof, poof, into like these like small exploded dust clouds. Yeah, exactly. And couple more are going to try and chase you all down, trying to embed in the starship here.
Do their drones look unmanned, or do they look like they're raiding drones?
Yeah, these look like raiding ships,
Okay.
trying to come in. And one kind of has to swerve out of the way as the shot gets like kind of scattered out at them. But one is coming in for a crash landing into the ship here. Does some damage to the ship as it crashes in, but you do hear a new klaxon on the alarms. Boarders on the hammerhead. Boarders on the hammerhead. Prepare to defend the corridors. And that will bring us over to Amie here. We've got boarders coming in at you. How do we respond?
With far too much enthusiasm, Nam will just throw her Morning Star up into the air and just like, let's hit it! And just full speed ahead towards the boarding party. I don't know how far away I am, but it's gonna charge.
Awesome. So yeah, you come charging down the hallway, leading a crew against them. Yeah, let's have you make some attack rolls here as you run in. There's 3 Gith-Yankee bandits or space pirates climbing through here. And they're climbing out of this boarding ship that's crashed in through the deck and is disembarking them into your corridors. You see 2 tall green humanoids pulling weapons and ready to go. And
all right, 18.
Absolutely.
Whatever the first one is that got out, getting hit.
Absolutely. Roll that damage.
That is 7. But I have mastery with the Morning Star, so if you hit a creature, that creature has disadvantage on its next attack roll before the start of my next turn.
Nice. So yeah, you kind of like see this one kind of like unfolding out of this tight opening, and yeah, clock him around the chin, and he is dazed, not quite sure which way is up anymore, and really kind of jamming up the exit of this ship here as you storm in there. Spelljammer Algrex, what are we doing?
He's going to stay in the Spelljammer chair and keep controlling this drone. He's going to fire another round off with the Ballistae.
All right. Go and make those attack rolls.
Natural 19, so 25.
Absolutely a hit.
And then what was the damage on that?
66.
There we go. That's 19 points of damage on that one. And then how far is the is my drone from the squid ship right now?
You're coming in hot.
All right, he is going to he's going to slam the drone ship into where he just fired those 2 ballista in. Concentrate fire.
All right, let's have you roll 10d10 for me.
48. Ouch. 48 damage.
Nice. So yeah, your ship comes hurtling in. You are now down a drone, but that was a heavy hit. They weren't prepared for that. And you see like this gout of flame burst through on the top of this squid ship. And several of the boarding party do seem to be spitting off here after that attack. But at least, let's see if one more comes in or not on ya. So yeah, unfortunately, one more enemy boarding ship does crash into your deck. So you know there are some more boarders in, but the rest are turning tail and looking to rejoin with the squid ship. And it does seem to be making a tactical withdrawal here after that devastating, reckless attack by your Spelljammer with his drone. That's awesome.
Are there comms?
Are there what?
Are there comms?
Yeah, definitely.
I think, Captain, permission to hail our enemy.
Permission granted.
Squid ship, I suggest you stand down. It looks like you're about to retreat with a couple of your soldiers on our ship. And I mean, like, honestly, are you really gonna just condemn your guys to death like that? Because we will kill them. We'll fucking kill them. I'll drag them behind my ship. I don't care. But like, is that the kind of captain you are?
And you hear this kind of oily voice on the radio respond. They knew the risks. We want our loot, and we got it. only one way out. And everybody knows you goody two-shoe spelljammers won't kill nobody. And they start jamming into high speed, making a high-speed withdrawal, apparently leaving them behind. And on your radar, you do pick up here, Captain, that there are a total of 5 more invaders on the ship boarding party. And then you do get a weird flash, too, that it's away from where the boarding craft were. But you are noting that your combat has taken you close to the wreckage of the ship. But there are 2 unknown signatures on the external prow of the ship as well, away from where the boarding parties crashed into the Hammerhead.
Okay. That's a bummer for them, because she does want to ram the ship. So whatever's on the outside of the prow is going to have a bad time.
All right, let's have you make then a... we can go with persuasion again, or intimidation, or...
Yeah, no, it's been working all night.
If you want something different, I'm more than open to like other
Donnie,
skills.
I've got a +4 in persuasion, so it is my highest stat.
So yeah.
So, but she's got it this time. I'm feeling confident. She's feeling confident, and she's actually going to embrace for impact and persuasion. 11.
Again, it's just that
impact.
Yeah, it's that upward inflection. It's just not really inspiring the crew. Algrex is more concerned with piloting his drone and like just doesn't quite get the ship to react quick enough to make contact with the squid ship, and it does manage to slip by and slide away. But you do know that you've got boarders to repel, and they do seem to be coming into the cabin here at this point. They've made their way to the ship, the command deck, and you're going to have to repel them now. And so you all do see breaking into the ship here. There are 5 Githyanki raiders that are coming in to try and take control of the ship.
Do I still have an attack move, or was that my attack?
Yeah, at this point, we're going into a little bit more of a standard... Why didn't it roll their initiative? It rolled all your initiatives into there, but didn't roll mine. That would have been too convenient.
Not too easy. Can't make it easy for you when you prepped this all in one day.
A couple hours, yeah.
Yeah, I think Algrex is definitely not happy that we weren't able to stop them. He doesn't want them to get away. But if we're seeing baddies come into the deck now, the command deck, he on his turn will begrudgingly get out of his chair.
He will ooze out of the chair.
Yeah, he'll kind of warp out onto the floor.
And now I'm just like, I got this shit! Lailing her morning star.
So I have rolled like all 14s for their initiatives. It's weird.
Beyond is in a weird mood tonight. Seems to be pro DM.
Not pro us.
No.
For damn sure.
All right. So at this point, I will say that you notice that the kind of unidentified creature alarm from the prow of the ship has slipped into the front of the ship and is probably down a level from you at the moment. But that will bring up, we can go ahead and have you make a regular action here, Captain Abigail, as several Githyanki bandits make their way into your deck.
I would like to seal all doors that like haven't been sealed. Kind of like close the watertight doors.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, the doors otherwise than the one that they've pried open kind of flash like from a green light above them to a red light, and you kind of hear this mechanical like chunk behind them as they seem to have sealed somewhat.
And is anybody directly like on the bridge?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge room, so you'd definitely be able to make way towards them. They've kind of spread out as they came in the door, and they're kind of arrayed overlooking you all and kind of preparing to seize the control of the ship if they can.
So I guess I'll hold my action until somebody comes through the door.
So they are through the door. They're like just arrayed into the cabin. Yeah, they're not like at your station yet, but they're like spreading through the bridge.
Well, then I would like to Ray of Frost one of them, please.
Yeah, so you kind of ready your spell and make that spell attack.
18.
18 will definitely hit.
8 damage.
8 damage. All right. So yeah, you kind of spot the one that kind of leads the way in, and you launch this frost ray at him, and yeah, he takes a severe hit and kind of like stumbles to the ground. He's kind of on one hand and like catching himself, trying to keep up, but definitely seems to have slowed his roll quite a bit. I believe it, in fact, does slow his roll a bit or something. I don't remember the full length of that spell. What is the effect of hitting him with the Ray of Frost?
Takes 1d8 cold damage. Speed is reduced by 10 feet.
Nice. Yeah. Awesome. And that will then bring up a couple of the bandits in the rear kind of surge off to the side here. And these ones see that, like, Nam is holding out this this first bandit that came off the ship at them, and they kind of try and gang up on Nam a little bit, and they're gonna make an attack roll against Nam. That's a 13 to hit.
Nope.
And the second one will be a 13 to hit. So nope and nope.
No.
So yeah, you're kind of confronted with this one bandit that's just taken a smack hard to the face, and it's two support members that came out with it. How do you respond?
I kind of like crouch and growl very intimidating, like, and then continue to swing at the one right in front of me.
Yeah.
Big old 10.
Just not enough to hit, unfortunately. It's probably that he's kind of like still careening from your original bow, and yeah, this second lash out just goes a little bit wide.
I just make it look very theatrical, like it was part of my intimidation. I wasn't actually going to hit them. I'm just swinging to look intimidating. But cool. the next hit, like, it'll come.
I like it. Make an intimidation roll for me.
$16.
Nice. Let's do advantage on your next attack.
Nice.
Hey.
Algrex, you see this crew now invading your deck. How do you respond?
So how many of them are on the deck, and where are they split up?
So there are 6. There's 3 kind of like jammed at the rear of the bridge, where Nam Eletz is holding them back, and then there's 3 other ones that have spilled in this other doorway, and the captain just froze the first one that surged through the door, but 2 more came in with him.
Okay, I'm going to shoot at the one that the captain froze with a chaos bolt. He's going to kind of slurp over behind one of the consoles and just...
Love it.
Say 19 to hit?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, cool. Now, this is nice and complicated. It's 2d8 plus 1d6, and then one of the d8s will determine what kind of damage it is. So I'm going to roll the d8s. This one will determine what the damage is. It's 3. So that is going to be fire damage. And then the other d8. So that's 7 fire damage plus 4 more, what is that, force damage? Or it's just fire damage. So yeah, 7 and 4 fire damage. 11 total.
Okay. So yeah, is with this fire damage launching out, how do you do this bandit in?
I think he just, he flips his pseudopod out, and you see this kind of beam of energy come out of the end of it, and it's changing colors as it's going towards him. It's green and yellow and blue, and when it hits him, it's bright orange and kind of bursts into flame and just consumes this guy's chest.
Nice. Yeah, and with the ice grasping at his ankles, he kind of flips straight to the ground, and yeah, that is a devastating blow to him. The bandit you had first smacked seems to kind of recover. He's going to try and make a swing at you at disadvantage here, Nam, which negates my at 20, but still a 17.
Yeah, it beats it.
Oof.
For 2 points of slashing damage with his kind of this electrified scimitar. Ion scimitar, because it's space.
Vibroblades. Oh wait, those are trademarked. Don't come for me, mouse.
The second one that came through the door is going to, having seen these 2 spellcasting attacks, whips out this small energy crossbow here and launches a dart over at our Spelljammer, but that's only a 7 to hit.
Yeah, he kind of opens up a hole and the bolt just goes through him.
Nice. And then the other one that came in through this with this second group is going to do the same thing, but over at our captain. I'm not rolling great for them. That's a 6.
Good. No.
And Captain, what are you doing?
I am immediately going to fire back at the one that just shot at me with an Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast. All right.
13.
13's a hit.
7 damage.
Nice.
And that will also push him back 10 feet.
Roll another d6 for me in this small space.
Six.
So yeah, your first blast slams into him and launches him up into the bulkhead, and he crumples down to the ground, unconscious.
All right. She's a little more confident. She's like, they shouldn't have boarded, but I'm doing it.
And then the 2 that had Nam cornered at the back try and support their friend. That's an 11 to hit and a 5 to hit. They're super effective, team. that brings us back to Algrix.
Okay. What's up?
You've got left here the 3 that are ambushing Nam, and then there was 1 more bandit that tried to shoot you with a bolt.
Are all of them that are around Nam within 5 feet of him?
Of each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of in like a tight little cluster, all kind of surrounding Nam.
Could I get all of them within 5 feet of me, but Nam not within 5 feet of me?
You could probably get 2 out of the 3.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. In that case, he is going to he's going to send a Sorcerer's Burst over at Nam's hit one of them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he'll send his Sorcerer's Burst at the one that Nam has hit.
All right.
That's a 10.
Not quite enough, unfortunately.
And that's his turn.
And I believe I skipped Nam, didn't I? I'm sorry.
I don't know where I am in the whole
Yeah.
Let's say Nam.
Right
You're
before Algrex.
I just do what you're telling me, Donnie.
That's your first mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just continuing to look so intimidating and so cool, and secretly just like trying to impress the other people on the crew and our captain, and you know, make friends without letting anyone know that that's what I'm trying to do. Ayo, 21.
Oh, there we go.
That is definitely a hit.
Punch him in the face. Oh, and that one was advantage, so maybe no. We're gonna go back to that 21. And big ol' 6 damage. And I just am feeling myself, and so I will action surge and try again.
The 6 damage was to the one you had already hit, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so you kind of smack him to the ground, for sure. So you still have the other 2 confronting you here.
Perfect. I would like to take a step forward on top of their body and then swing at the next one.
I love it.
Okay. 17 to hit that one.
17 will definitely hit.
Okay, and 9 damage on that. And then the same thing, because it's my Morning Star, they will have disadvantage on their next attack.
Yeah, and again, just clobbered to the face with a Morning Star. He is not feeling things like he's even on... Well, he's not on a planet, but even if he was, he doesn't feel like he is anymore. That was a devastating smack to the face.
He feels out of this world.
Yeah, and again, I'm still just trying to look so relaxed and so chill about it. Like, I do that every Tuesday. Like, this is fine, guys.
And at this point, the last bandit that had its 2 friends magically attacked by the captain and the Algrex kind of rushes over and is like, "For my crew!" And he makes this attack at you, Captain, for 14.
That will hit.
And his ion scimitar slashed you for 6 points of slashing damage.
We're only level 2, Donnie. What are you doing? Trying to kill us?
I know. We're babies.
Captain, how do you respond?
I'm gonna kind of like grab him like Hadouken style, but Eldritch Blast, and hopefully hit him and also push him 10 feet back.
I love it.
23.
All right. Definitely a hit.
10 damage.
10 damage.
Nice.
Let's have let's have him make a dex save to see how this goes in this small space. Well, that is a slight failure. Let's have you roll a d4 as he kind of stumbles through a console or something here.
3.
3. So yeah, how do you do it?
I feel like he does trip over probably some on fire and or broken machinery that's on the bridge, and I think he like impales himself, even though it's a hollow deck. So I don't know how he did that, but maybe the chair, like he impales himself on like one of the rolly parts of the chair.
Nice. So yeah, like there's like this chair that one of the other crew members was in that got pushed back and like trips and lands right on the spike that like was left of where the chair sat on this thing. And yeah, there he is, kind of knees bent 90 degrees and body supported by the chair. The bandit that you just smashed in the face quite terribly is going to try and attack back here. It's not going to matter that it's a disadvantage because that's already a miss. And then the last one, having seen how savagely you are just beating on its crew, is going to tactically withdraw a little ways from you here and is going to chuck its weapons aside and be, no, don't take me. Take me alive. I'll talk.
Take him,
throws
don't
his
take
weapons down and gets on knees. Nam, how do you respond?
So they disengage, so like not an opportunity attack, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just make very deep eye contact. And I'm like, don't think you can. You're like, you are not getting away with anything. We're gonna take you down, and just keep talking shit for no reason.
Nice. So kind of just keeping him in place, intimidating him. Okay.
Not that he was going anywhere, because he clearly gave up, but whatever.
All right. And at this point, you see both the dazed bandit and this one that's kind of given up staring at you, eyes kind of widen. Yeah, the whites of their eyes kind of vanish as their eyes just go huge saucer plates staring at the front of the bridge. And right at the front of the bridge, where the viewport is, rising through the floor, is this otherworldly spectral creature. And it just behind it is a second. And in chorus, they hiss at you all. Leave our wreckage state. Invader already came and we finished it. You'll never leave here with the goods you seek. And this is a shadow of some kind rising into your ship. A ghost of the wrecked ship you came to investigate and retrieve the logbook from. And it begins to float across the deck over towards you, Algrix. And it's going to take a swipe.
Okay.
That is, I finally rolled good, a 22.
That will, that'll hit.
So that will do 3 necrotic damage.
But
it it reduces your strength by 1.
Okay. That's not good.
What? Now, was that a butt to the necrotic damage?
No,
or just,
that was a...
You knew it was coming.
It's only 3 damage, but...
Yeah. All right, it is your turn, though, sir.
All right, so he is going to... he is just going to... shoot out at this thing with another sorcerer's... Oh, actually, he's going to do another... a chaos bolt on this one.
Okay.
14?
14 will definitely hit.
Oh, heck yes. All right, so let's open that up since this is nice and complicated. All right, so our damage type and the first D8 is lightning for 5.
Okay.
So that's 9 total so far. 12 total damage on the Chaos Bolt.
All right, so the lightning kind of crackles over its form, but what remains of the facial features seem less affected than you'd hoped, as the second one surges up behind it and tries to drain your life force as well. Oh, it sat on that nat 20 for a second, but that's a 6.
That will not hit.
All right, that will bring up the captain as you see these two spectral forms float into your bridge and attack your Spelljammer. What do you do?
She's going to look at the not quite dead Githyanki, and she's going to go, fight with us?
Make that persuasion check. Or intimidation.
Hey, 22!
There it is. And you know, their eyes are big, and they can tell that whatever these things are, they're not going to be satisfied just with killing Spelljammers. So, I think that's fair. I like that. And the one that's dazed is going to try and run over and attack. He has a disadvantage to, or no, he used that, but that is going to hit and do some damage. So yeah, he runs over to the first specter and slashes at it for you. I expect this to count towards good behavior. And the second one that was on their knees kind of looks at Nam and then looks at their weapon like, can I? Like,
Go on. Go.
and kind of stands up, pulls out their little laser crossbow and shoots a bolt over there. All right, now they can roll.
Yeah.
And does some more damage. That will bring us back to Nam.
I am just gonna run on over to Spectral Friend number 2, whoever else is on there, and continue swinging.
Let's have it. Get at him.
Boom. Natural 20.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. So we do D&D crits a little different here. So what is your damage on that attack?
So it's normally 1d8 plus 2.
1d8 plus 2. So it'll be 10 damage plus a d8.
Plus a d8.
Should have had a d8.
Ta-da! 6.
6. All right. So 16 points of damage. So yeah, you rush in and you kind of smash your hammer into this creature. It's a bit otherworldly, so it doesn't quite take the full brunt, but it definitely catches. You feel as your mace streams through it, the resistance. You know you hit something and you hit it solidly. Algrix, Nam, that creature kind of reels and it spins around on you and tries to attack you back, Nam. For a 7.
Disadvantage.
Irrelevant.
This is what I do to Donnie. Every character, I'm like, here's this one thing to mess with you just enough that I'm fine.
You're super effective at that.
Everything.
All right, Algrix, you're up.
All right, so which of these guys is looking a little more beaten up?
The one that first attacked you is looking pretty disincorporated.
All right, he is going to just unleash a magic missile salvo on that guy.
Let's have it. We'll roll them damages.
That is, how many do I get? 3 of them at this level?
I think it's 4.
Don't worry, the internet will correct you.
Right?
Just roll whatever you want.
3. All right, so the first one was 3. The second one is 4. And the third one is 4. So for a total of 11.
So yeah, as your energy blast pummeled this shadow, you can see that it's just the force of your magic missiles are just blasting away the wisps that remain of this shadow. And just as your last one comes in, there's just barely an essence left in the center of this thing, and poof, it explodes and blasts away the shadow. But its partner lets forth this otherworldly screech at you and lashes out with a 17 to hit.
Algrix, that hits, yeah.
Yep. And then it swings again in fury, but that second attack just seems a little bit out of control and doesn't hit.
Are you
But
sure?
you will take...
I've got a very low
I'm
AC.
sure.
Okay.
You will take 7 necrotic damage, and your strength decreases by 4.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
Do you have any left?
Yeah,
or
what is
are you
your-
just goo now?
What is your strength score?
5.
That's after the -5 you've taken?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Making sure you didn't, like, nerf it down to 5 somehow.
I think he's. I think Algrix is starting to look a little thin and stringy, a little less gel-like and a little more water-like.
Can you do
is he
like
like
a full
dripping
Alex
onto the
Mack?
A
floor?
little bit, yeah.
Captain Abigail, your Spelljammer's looking pretty rough here. What do you do?
Eldritch Blast!
Blast that shadow.
Yeah. 21.
21 is definitely going to blast the shadow.
7.
7 points of damage. All right. And our 2 bandits are going to try and attack this thing. Nat 1 on the first guy. But it bounces with a nat 20 on the second.
All right.
I mean, that one definitely has some head trauma. That was my bad.
And that was the
Swings
one
and
that
roundabouts.
hits, too. All right, so yeah, he takes a very solid swing as the first guy swings wide, but as he carries his momentum out of the way, it leaves the shadow clear for the second bandit. Nom, they did some work, but that thing is still looming over Algrix in his chair.
You are not looking so hot, buddy. Don't worry, I got this.
I appreciate that.
17. Do I got it?
That you got it.
Yeah. 1, 3 total.
3 points of damage. It's just hard to hit a shadow sometimes. I mean, you swing through, but like this, you hit a pretty wispy area of the shadow, and it just doesn't seem to be overly phased by it. Algrix, how you doing over there?
He is pretty rough. He is. I mean, I would say bloody, but he's an amoeba, so he's not. His cell walls are starting to break down. I'm gonna do another sorcerer's burst on this thing. I think he's. For an 18.
18's definitely gonna hit.
Heck yeah, 6 points of damage.
What kind of damage is that?
Does it say? I may choose. So I saw these guys look like lightning didn't do it to these guys earlier. So I am going to go with fire this time.
Fire. And, you know, these things just not very elemental. It does, though, it definitely takes damage, but again, just not quite as much as you hoped. And it looms closer over you and slashes down.
Oh boy.
For a 7. Captain Abigail, this thing is just looming like Dementor style over your Spelljammer. He's desperately lashing out with energy back at them, but it just can't. You can't shake him.
I'm going to like taunt it, like over here, question mark, over here, and like doing like the wacky waving inflatable arm playing too bad, and try to Eldritch Blast it again.
Okay.
That is a nat 20.
Nice.
Yeah.
So roll that damage and then add the maximum possible.
One plus 12.
So
So 13.
that is still enough. So this thing kind of is called in by your call to fight you, and it like stands up and presents its target. How do you do it?
Eldritch Blast right through what would be center mass, but it's smoky, so I feel like it just kind of separates and then like dissipates and just falls sort of like ash to the deck of the bridge there.
Awesome. All right. So at this point, you find your ship clear. You have the 2 bandits, and they are standing in the middle of your bridge armed. How do you all respond?
Stand down?
I would do what she says. And he's pointing
So-
I'm
his
just gonna
wand.
whisper to Abigail, like, try it like this. Stand down. Stand down.
So let's have
Down.
Algrix and Nam make persuasion checks using whatever your strongest modifier is. So roll a d20, add whatever your strongest stat modifier is to it.
It's a 14 for Al.
Okay.
Another character named Al. I do that a lot.
Plus 4, that'd be a 10 total.
A 10 total. All right. So, Captain, make a intimidation check here as you tell them to stand down, and add a +2 to your roll.
Eight.
Oh my god.
Yay, full circle. We're back to terrible. Good.
So I think the 2 look at you all, and they kind of look at Algrex kind of slopping to the ground. And even though it made a lot of sense what he said, like, they kind of still don't want to go to jail. And they're like, I think we can do it. And they kind of turn at each other, make eye contact, and jump at you all. And they try and attack, seeing the weakness in Algrix, not feeling the fear of Nam and Abigail. They're going to try and fight their way out and attack Algrix.
All right.
So 22 to hit for the first one.
Yeah, that hits.
And that's 4 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
And the second bit is a 9 to hit.
Just barely misses.
Okay. That will bring up Nam.
Alright, so I'm just immediately gonna stomp in front of them. Pick on someone your own size! And also maybe viscosity. I am not sure what's happening. So a 23.
And are you hitting the damaged one or the undamaged one?
I'd probably go for the damaged one first.
Absolutely. Definitely a hit.
10.
Yeah, how do you do it?
Just straight through the nose, like pushing it in, so they now look like a pug dog.
Oh, jeez. Savage. All right, Algrix, there's one more still looming over you, trying to take advantage of your weakened state.
Yeah, he is going to, he's gonna try another Sorcerer's Burst on this guy. He's just gonna...
Does it also squish when you cast it?
Yeah. Yeah. But he gets a 24. Squishy 24.
That definitely flirts all over them.
And I think this is gonna be fucking a 1. Oh wait, no, that was the wrong die. I rolled the wrong die. It's D6, not a D8.
All right.
3 points of fuck it, force damage.
Yeah, you kind of like surge in your body, kind of like slams out magically and thumps him a little bit, but he's not overly concerned. Captain, this lone bandit is trying to fight his way out of your custody.
Stop! And I'm gonna try to Eldritch Blast him off of Algrix.
All right.
10.
Fortunately, yeah, it goes a little wide as you're trying to avoid Algrix.
Maybe the stop was effective?
Unfortunately not. Yeah, it's a 21 to hit Algrix.
That hits, yeah.
Oh, and that's 7 points of slashing damage.
All right, so you see Algrix turn into a puddle. He kind of loses any sense of cohesion and spills out of his jacket.
And as he does, he kind of like, you see his image kind of like go staticky and vanish off the edge. But Nam, what do you do?
That is just rude. Natural 20.
Oh, the vengeance strike. Just, you can feel free to roll damage, but how do you do it? Like, let's go.
I don't even really know that person, but for this exercise, I will say that is my friend, and I do not appreciate what you have done. And I'll just wildly swing the Morningstar around in circles. A few too many times, just a little dramatic at some point, and then crash down on their head.
I love it. And the bridge goes quiet. But your Spelljammer is down.
Clean up.
But the ship still survives. The squid ship seemingly has made an escape. And you've repelled the boarders. Most of the crew is okay. There's some scrapes, some bruises. But the boarding crew seemed intent on taking control of the ship. Unfortunately, somebody's going to have to step in and try and pilot this thing in Algrix's absence. But you do see, just flashing ahead on the radar, the distress beacon that indicates the captain's log that you were sent to retrieve. Which one of you would like to try and take over the pilot chair and navigate to retrieve this log?
Can anyone fly?
So anybody with a casting modifier, and I will say you can use whatever your, it's supposed to be a spell casting modifier. So if you have a spell casting ability, you can try and fly this ship for sure.
No, but I'll stand behind you and say encouraging things.
She's gonna look around like, no one?
You are the captain. Come on, no, brave face. Right, get it together. Come on, brave face. Let's do it.
Yeah. She's gonna get in the pilot seat and
All right, so
see how badly she can write
so roll
this.
your d20 and add your spell modifier to it, which would be whatever you add to Eldritch Blast.
The lumbar support's in a really weird spot.
That's gonna be a 14.
A 14. So it's not quite as flashy as when Algrex took you out of dock, but slow is steady, steady is safe, and you take it up, and you're able to bring the log, kind of retrieve the log using the functions of your ship, and take it on board. Let's have you roll a check here and see if we can navigate our way out of here and back home. And we'll have...
What would you like me to roll?
So it'll be a spell modifier again, but let's first have Nam roll a check here to see how they get the crew motivated to support you, and that'll affect your roll. So Nam, let's have you roll, I don't know if you want to do strength, however you think you're going to help motivate the crew.
Great.
Could be basically whatever spell, but I'm more curious what you're going to do.
I genuinely am just trying to look very calm. Like, everything's okay. It's gonna be okay. We're in it together. Let's just hit it. Like, captain's kicking ass. Like, let's rally. Let's hit it.
All right. So roll a d20 and add your best modifier.
I really appreciate your graciousness on that. That would be a 21 total.
Nice. So yeah, you kind of get the crew in order, keep everybody on track. Captain knows now they don't have to worry about that, so they can just focus on flying. Let's get that spell check at advantage here with that success. That was pretty good.
What am I rolling? I'm sorry.
Your spell attack, Eldritch Blast attack, at advantage.
$14.
14. It's again, not flashy, safe, slow, steady. It's probably why you were made the captain. Your conservative, nervous nature actually translates to safe piloting, and
Yeah.
so you make your way back through the asteroid field. And as you do, you're moving slowly, so you're able to see something flash up on the radar. You're not quite sure what it was from the shape on the radar, but it is flashing a distress beacon that's a Spelljammer signal. Do you check it out?
No. We are down several crew. The ship is barely together. No.
Yeah.
I will mark it, make a note and mark it on the astral map where it is, so we could maybe return, but no.
Awesome. And let's have our shipsman here make a perception check for me as you're kind of maybe walking past a viewport here as you're flying through the area.
Ooh, another nat one.
Oh no.
Again, full circle. We're just coming back around, y'all.
Yeah. So you definitely do not see the beta crew and our friend Cadet Micken standing on the wreckage of their ship in the asteroids field, like waving for help as you guys slowly trudge on by, ship kind of smoking a little bit. But you do manage to safely return back to the Spelljamming Academy, to log in hand. And as you do, Bosun Tarto is waiting and scowling, chomping on that cigar. Well, you lost your Spelljammer, you abandoned your fellow crewmates to the asteroids, but you did accomplish the mission and your ship's intact, so that does count for something. Let's take a look at the score here, though. And we've got a attempt to plot the course. Well, unfortunately, we missed that point. Navigating the electric eel storm. Oh, no, don't get that point.
We rolled
Asteroid
so many
navigation. Nope, got hit by asteroid. You did make it out, so you get 1 point for that. You did defeat the enemy ship. That is a 4-point win there for you all. But you did abandon your fellow cadet squad, missed those 2 points. Unfortunately, with just 5 points, a 6 is a success. We're going to have to put you on an academic remediation plan immediately. We won't bounce you from the academy like Beta Squad, but you're on thin ice, cadets. And that's where we'll end our adventure tonight.
Oh, that was fun. Oh, poor Algrex.
We did so bad.
I thought we were going to set the record for the lowest passing score ever.
Unfortunately, didn't set the lowest passing score.
We got the highest failing score.
You did get the highest failing score.
Yeah.
That's looking at the bright side. That's why you're the captain.
Exactly. That kind of positive outlook.
Awesome. I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I love it when I get a little bit of sci-fi in my fantasy.
Yeah.
I love that you still get your ass handed to you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you play or what we play.
No matter what. And I didn't do it to myself this time. I wasn't running out in front of people.
Yeah.
My tradition of killing somebody in my
chair.
one-shot continues, though.
Yeah.
Happy to be part of it. Oh, Algrix is fun to play.
Yeah. And I will say that this is a training exercise. Algrix was at no mortal danger. Algrix is continuing, but again, with the rest of his crew on thin ice.
Yeah, his head hung low. He's very ashamed of himself.
He shouldn't be. He's the only reason. Well, I think Nam is probably the only reason we're alive with the murdering of the boarding crew.
Yeah, I loved the decision
to
recruit the surrendering bandits. That was brilliant.
Yeah, that was.
Thank you.
Join us.
Yeah, I love the leaning into the roles too.
Yeah.
Like that was great, right?
Yeah, that was top tier. I loved it.
So I think next week we do plan on returning back to Cyberpunk with a very exciting episode. We are super looking forward to that. The crew.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this episode since we knew it was coming, and we've got some special things. We've got some special things up our sleeve for next Monday.
So yeah, definitely hope you will all join us again next week. Same place, back to our normal time of 7:30. We will not mispost the time and just lean into it.
Graphics really should have paid closer attention and not said we were starting at 7 instead of 7:30 tonight.
We did plan this whole thing in the last few hours, really. So good job, us. Good job, Donnie. Good job, everybody.
Yes.
Great characters.
Yeah, considering we threw this together in, 4 hours?
Couple hours.
Yeah.
I'm stoked with it. I hope everybody out there in TV land had a good time with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And when's our next rave reviews?
That is going to
that's
be
probably
Wednesday,
the next thing on the radar.
and that one is at 7 o'clock. Rave Reviews is at 7 o'clock Eastern.
No.
No?
Nope.
No.
Did I get it wrong?
9 o'clock
Eastern.
7 o'clock Mountain.
7 o'clock Mountain Time, Mountain Boy.
Sorry, all these different time zones. I get so confused.
So yeah, rave
Okay, time
reviews
zones are hard.
Wednesday at 7. We've got reviews on Sunday at 9. So 9, both
30.
of those.
No, 9 o'clock. Yes. Now I'm
Yeah.
confused. Yeah.
9 Eastern
9
to
Eastern.
watch Greg die repeatedly.
A lot.
Yes.
Again.
Thank
Well,
you.
I think the count's almost
Correct.
up
That
to
is-
50
that
at
is
this
it.
point.
Yeah.
Which honestly isn't terrible from where it started.
Yeah, no.
You're slowing down that trend.
I definitely was expecting to be like almost triple digits by this point.
I still
Yeah.
think that Ray is too nice.
Me too. Every time I'm so shocked. She's like, I'm going to be
I'm
benevolent,
tuning
Ray.
in for the insults, Ray.
I don't know why you all are shocked. Ray is a sassy sweetheart. Let's be all real.
Yeah. I'm just saying we could lean a little heavier on the sass. That's all. Yeah.
It's what the fans want. They want to see me sassed.
Okay. Well, you've got a rough farming stream ahead of you on Wednesday. I
Okay,
think,
well,
so.
thank you all
Yeah.
for roughening my Wednesday night.
All right. And we'll acknowledge here, we've got some new people joining us in chat. Thank you, Owen, and I'm him joining us tonight. And Owen, we will normally have a table you can see with maps. We just little throwing together tonight, so it's a lot of imaginary. But thank you so much for joining us, new followers. Please make sure you like, subscribe, share it with a friend. That's a great way to support us. Just throw that share out there on socials, and we really appreciate y'all for joining it, and so thankful you enjoy the content. So I think on that note, we'll sign off for the night and see y'all in a couple days.
All right. Thanks a bunch.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.